All right. Welcome to this week's episode of the Courageous Leaders Changing the World podcast. Super excited for this week's guest, Lewis Huckstep.
I feel the Yoda and the Luke Skywalker moment here because you're my current mentor and I've gained so much from you, and it's like to be now side by side in this conversation. I get excited for podcasts, but I'm like extra excited for this one. So I don't even know where this is going to go. So
great, perfect. Have I told you the story about one of my clients that used to superimpose my head onto Yoda?
No.
I've got all of these memes that he's created of me, and it's like my head on Yoda.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
It's like the red pill one that I did for you.
Yeah. Except he calls me Coda. It's like, and there's an actual song called Coda, and then one of my other clients has a child named Coda. So yeah, it's a bit of fun. So the name of the podcast is the Courageous Leaders Changing the World podcast. What's the time in your life that you've had to summon all of your courage that's brought more courage out of you than ever before?
The first thing that came up is when I took the courage to actually go down the coaching pathway. I came from the gym background, as you're quite familiar. For people that aren't familiar, I owned gyms for 7 years, and it just life just took me there. I didn't have the intention of doing that, but ended up owning 3 gyms when I was 22, and it was just very much the uninformed optimist. Let's keep going. Let's do it. Why not? Let's go. Yes, yes, yes. And there's a lot of people pleaser, overcompensating, unhealed shit within me that created that, and hit a breaking point. Gave one of the gyms away, sold another one, and then I had removed myself from the 3rd gym, and I had about $2,000-3,000 a week coming in for an hour of work because I had good management, good team there, and I had space. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now? And then my ex-business partner, and we were close as a friend at the, back in the day, he tried to then re-enroll me back into the gyms again, and there was just like that friendship wound of like he was my close friend, had a lot of friendship wounds growing up, and he's like, my best friend, I want to help you. I want to support you, because the franchise itself was starting to like crumble beneath. And yeah, I was really torn. And he sold me the dream. We'll just build it up. We'll make all this money. We'll have this exit. You will only have to do this, la, la, la. And I was like, fuck, I've wanted for so long, because I think like 2 years earlier, I made the decision, I'm going to get to a point where I get to actually do what I love every day. And that's coaching, as you know. And yeah, that was probably the hardest one, because all the friendship wounds were there. The shiny object of the money was there. I've been doing it for 7 years. It's like I've already got good foundations. I could just build upon that. I could do it differently. And I took a mushroom trip, as we often joke about. And took some time away. And it's like in your heart, you already know the answer. It's like you're just looking for the permission to say, no, I'm not doing that. So that would be the first one. That's the first sort of moment that come up, because it was the courage to go from a franchise where they give you the systems and processes and they tell you what to do in some degree, to I'm going to go now make money doing what I love, and I don't know what I'm going to offer. I don't know how to market. I know I've got some marketing skills, but I don't have the system there. And it's like, how do I build this coaching business, and how do I help people in the way that I want to? So that's one of the moments that come up for me, because it was just more the wounds and the insecurities and the uncertainty that was there. But it's literally as soon as I got into the trip of the shroomies, I just asked my heart, it's like, what's the answer? It's just like, you know the answer. And I was like, fuck, all right. I took all this time out for the answer I already knew. But yeah, that's probably the one that sort of stands out to me so far.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. What's been that journey with that friendship wound for you then?
What's the journey of the friendship wounds? For me, I guess in the unconscious period when I grew up, I was always a people pleaser when I was younger. In retrospect and in reflection of the work that we've done together, it was me feeling scared of being rejected, me feeling scared of being judged, being lonely, being misunderstood. Got gifted with Asperger's and Autism and ADHD when I was younger. I had a lot of just emotional instability around Dad. Dad was very reactive and very angry and I just felt very unsafe around him. So to protect myself unconsciously back then, it was just always to be the nice guy, just always be super pleasing. I remember there was a time where I was like working on something, and this was later still when I was in the business realm, a couple years previous to the story I just shared. Like I remember my best friend, he's like, and business partner, I was like working on something really, really hard, and I had something that I was working on and I was so focused. And he just said, hey man, do you want to come hang out? And there was no like to do this. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. I dropped everything I was doing, gave up all the things I actually wanted to do to put his needs first, even though I just wanted to catch up. And that was kind of the theme of all of my friendships up until the point I recognized it's my shit, and then I integrated it and worked on it. But I did that through high school, did that through primary school. It made me very likable. Like it was something I was good at. Like I remember at high school when I was sort of 10, 11 and year 12 when partying and drinking and girls were the highest values back then. And my mates were like, Louis, get us invited to this party. You got to know someone there. I'm like, yeah, okay. And I'll get us invited within like 20 minutes. So it obviously served me and it allowed me to connect with people really well. But it was from the fuel of, if I don't, I'm going to get rejected. If I don't, I'm a loser. If I don't, I'm not liked. So obviously it serves me. It has served me, but I've since done the work. So the fuel source is one of inspiration, not desperation. So yeah, bit of a people pleaser in summary.
Yeah, definitely. And I think everyone has those tendencies, and it's one of those kind of critical stages of development. We have that kind of developmental stage, 14 to 21, we actually start to develop our identity outside of our family unit. And when we actually start to do that, it forces us to start to play this fitting in game. I need to be able to fit in with my family, but also my friends and all of these areas. And we start to put on that act, and we start to please all of these people around us so much more, which has us disown who we are. And what I start to notice in the world is like so many people don't actually integrate that level. So many people are actually like stuck in that. They're stuck in that, proving their worth to the world, or proving their worth by pleasing all of these other people, by being the person that just does what the other person wants, disowning their values because they perceive that they're going to get something from it. What do you do with your clients to be able to support people with that?
What came up as you're talking is like, that's where I think majority of the world goes to, because obviously you don't get taught and told this stuff. And I'm still getting clear on my dream avatar. I change it every week, but because you can help obviously so many different people. But at one stage, I had all these people coming into my ecosystem for my business, and they're all people going through a midlife crisis. Where for me, a midlife crisis is where you've spent your life up to that point being someone that you're not, and you've got the mask, the personas, you're living to someone else's values. So the first thing I do for 95% of my clients, depending on what they're coming to me for, is to do their values. So your soul values from a DeMartini perspective is like what actually fulfills you. Because if you're not, you're being number two of someone else, and you're wearing the mask, the persona, who you should be, have to be, ought to be, got to be, la, la, la. Where it's like, well, who are you? Let's start there, because the three pillars that I use, self-mastery, inner work, and skills and strategies. The skills is like, okay, what's the goal? What do we want to achieve? How are we going to do that? It's like sort of the 20% skills and strategies that Tony Robbins refers to. If you start there without actually knowing who you are, you're literally setting goals based on someone that you don't know who you are, and that results in you building a life that's not yours. And that's where you have that quote midlife crisis, where you wake up, you're like, okay, I've achieved the things I thought I should do, that I thought I had to do based on mum or dad, religion, society, parents often. Where it's like, and then you wake up, you're like, well, I've actually done the things that I thought I was meant to do, should doing, got to do, la, la, la. I'm still not happy. Now what? And that's generally, it's like, holy shit, there's got to be more to life. There's, what's the meaning of life? Who am I? And all those sort of questions start to bubble up. And that's, I guess where a lot of people come to me. Like I've got another one-day event this weekend, and I spoke to a couple of people on the phone that's coming down. They pretty much just said word for word what I just said. They just said, I've been in this corporate role forever because I thought that's the path I was meant to take, and I was my mum like pushed me to do that. But I'm just like, who am I? What am I meant to do with myself? What do I love? What lights me up? What fulfills me? So that's generally where I'll start with people, because if you're setting goals, if you don't know who you are, then if you're setting goals, the chances are you're just taking on someone else's projections of their beliefs, their values, their wants and needs. And that's where I start with. So you can actually, okay, who am I? What do I actually love? What fulfills me? What puts a tear in my eye? And then what do we want to achieve? And then we get practical and strategic, integrating the sort of spiritual woo-woo world and the Hormozy practical, tactical world together. And so you know who you are, you know what you want, you know what inspires you, know how you're going to get there. And then we address what's the unconscious blocks that's fucking you to get there. And that's where I think your work is fantastic, where you can actually identify those unconscious motives, those unconscious fears, those wounds, those limitations within you. Because if you know what you want and you know what you want to achieve, but you're not taking the action, that's when it's something within you. And that's where the psychology, the mindset sort of piece comes into it.
Yeah, I love that. just reminds me of the Matrix where the Oracle just points to the thing and it's like I can't remember what language it is, but it's basically like know thyself.
Yeah.
It's like know thyself. When you start to know who you are, number one, then everything else starts to get easier until you go through that experience of like recognizing who you are. Like anything that you try and create is only going to be based on someone else. And most people live their entire life living someone else's life, and then they have that moment where whether it's midlife or even in their teens or their 20s where they recognize, holy fuck, I didn't actually define what success is.
Yeah.
I didn't define what it is. My parents did, the culture did, everyone else did, meaning all of the things that you then create, you can never receive. You never receive it because you didn't actually create it from you.
Yeah.
So it's this such an important like place to be able to come from, is it's like recognizing, right, who am I? Because, the meaning of life and all of those things can be only answered from knowing who you are first, because that meaning is going to be entirely different. You're going to have all of your experiences. You're going to recognize all the perfection, wholeness, and completeness of all the things that you've come from. So, yeah, know thyself is that first piece, and then all of the other questions become so much easier. When you look at business, what's the thing that lights you up most about business?
I've thought about this in a bit of detail, to be honest. It's like, if you were to do one specific thing that lights you up the most, what would it be? Personal transformation. It's the transformation moment where the healing, the resolving, the integration. It's like when you've seen that moment happen with me many times, because you look me in the eyes when you do it. It's like I've been in your rooms. I don't know how many days I've spent with you inside of your rooms, but months inside of your rooms. But there's one moment in particular where we're doing one of your holographic processes, which best process on the planet for everyone listening. And I can't remember what step we were up to, but it's like when you see it, it's like, I love what you said. A good coach doesn't tell you what it is, but they tell you where to look. And I went up and I feel like I'm close, but it's not clicking. And I just went up to you, and I love Peter Crony says, the words are the locks and the keys. So it's like you've got all these locks unconsciously, subconsciously. You just need the right words at the right time with the right energy at the right frequency to unlock those locks. And I can't remember what it was, but I just went up to you and I'm like, I'm a little bit stuck. What's going on here? And you looked at me and you asked me like one question, and it hit, and I just had tears come straight through my eyes. I'm like, whoa, that was fucking epic. Thank you. See you later. I went back and continued my process. And it's like being able to have that moment where the person heals, transforms, ascends, raises their level of awareness, consciousness. You can use many different labels, but that moment there, like I ran one event last year, but it was kind of like just weird because I didn't have anything to sell. I was just like, why not? So I say the most recent event I ran is my first proper event that I ran. And we did the purpose process where you find your purpose, you connect with it, you feel it, and then we do a limiting belief process with a bit of emotional, suppressed emotions release and a sound bowl from Georgia afterwards. And at those moments throughout the day, I was just sitting in the essence of it, the energy of it, and I just had tears coming from me. I was just sitting in front of the room and I was just like, this feels amazing. It's like the need for motivation is a symptom of an uninspired goal. And it's like, I guess a big tying into what we're talking about before, knowing who you are. When you know what you want, you know your purpose, you know what lights you up, you know your soul's gift. It's like you don't need motivation. You don't need to have a coffee, even though most people enjoy coffee. But it's like I was sitting there and I was like, I wish I hit it a little bit harder. I'm going to do it the next one, but because I know it's going to come up again. It's like, and it's not a performance. I'm just feeling it come through me. And I wish I said it the first time, but I wanted to say, guys, look at my eyes right now. And I just had tears all through my face. It's like, do you think I need motivation right now? It's like, I don't do this for the money because I earn enough online now. I don't have to run events, which is, I'm happy I built my business model that way. And it's like, I don't need to run these events, and I'm probably going to make less off these events than online. I could just go all in online, crank some ads and make more money there. But it's like, I do this for this feeling. I do this right now. And if you want to be able to give this back to others, come work with me further. And there's a bit of a sales pitch, but yeah, that's the transformation moment, that moment where the person heals, they find themselves, they discover their gift, that learning moment, because learning was a void of mine and it's a value of mine. And where it's like, I would always be that kid in class saying, why? Can you explain it again? It's like, it took me a while to understand things. When I understand it though, I really get it. So to see that energy when people click into their purpose, they open their heart, they have tears coming from their face, the process in healing, which you see it deeper than majority of people on this planet, when you see that person transcend something that they've been holding on to for fucking decades, it's like, fuck. It's like, I feel it even through just proximity of you, seeing you do it with other people. I'm like feeling it too. I'm like, this is fucking amazing. And that's why I love the work that you do. So to circle that up, transformation is definitely the part that I love the most. It just puts a tear in my eye. I love it. And it's, I guess being able to scale that. Navdeep, who you've got on the podcast this afternoon, he just put it simply. He said, your business is scaling transformation. So yeah, I guess that's the way to put it. So that's it.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that kind of ties back into the previous point of like, know thyself, which is, I see there's like a couple of different kinds of coaches that you see people that are like the mechanic transformation artists. It's like they're the artist of transformation. They're creatively creating all of these ways to be able to transform people, compared to like an entire other group of people that it's all about just being in their frequency because they're just fucking so crazy, so wild that whatever, so delusional that whatever they do just like works. And one of the things that I see so many people do out there in the industry and out there in the world is just comparing. It's like, oh, well, I need to be able to run my business like that person. It's like, well, who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? Do you run your business like that person? Do you run your business like me? I was like literally in the gym yesterday with a group of people, and we're talking about business, and we're sharing about funnels and things like that. And one of the guys was saying, the more systems that we put in place, the less money we made in business.
Interesting.
And I'm like, well, yeah, definitely. If you know yourself and you know the energy that you're coming from, if you're coming from a hyper intuitive energy, then you want to have the minimum amount of systems so that you get the maximum amount of aliveness coming through. But if you're running your business from an intellectual place and you want to step out of your business a little bit more, then it makes sense to run it from that intellectual place to be able to have more systems so that it becomes more efficient. It's like as soon as you know who you are, then you can actually start to amplify that, double down on that, triple down on that, so that ultimately you can bring forth more of your essence. So what would you say to people who are, looking at beyond values? What would you say in someone who's looking at learning who they are on an even deeper level?
I go very practical and step by step. So I do generally I do values first. I've actually been doing purpose first now, but because it's quicker to do, values it's a bit more intellectual. Like you got to think about it and find the themes and categorize them. So I think it's actually arguably more powerful and easier to find purpose now. So generally it's values first, then purpose. And then, so values are the areas of life that fulfill you. Your purpose is like the part that just opens your heart. It's the three things it gives you. It gives you direction. So directionally, where do you want to go in life? Second, it gives you a deep sense of meaning and fulfillment. The need for motivation is a symptom of an uninspired goal. And third, it gives you unlimited fuel source to get there. So you want to do it relentlessly ongoing. And so once you've got that, then we go down to mission. And that's where it gets a little bit more practical. Mission is a measurable goal to fulfill the purpose. Because you could, like for me, as an example, mine is to heal and raise consciousness. That's why you and me are so aligned, because we do similar work. And it's like, there's a million ways you could do that. You could write a book, you could do a podcast, you could go preach something, you could go just help people at a charity shelter or something. You could do a million ways to do that. So it's like, well, how do you want to do that? Which is the measurable goal. Vision and mission for me are on the same time scale. Mission is the one measurable goal. For me, it's to coach 10 million people to live a life that they love. And then vision is, what does your life look like once you hit the mission? And we use your values to create that. So like, what is my case, what does my coaching look like, my learning look like, my relationships, my health, my wealth, and my business? What does that all look like? And games, I love games. So what does that look like? What's the vision for your life? And then what's the plan for you to practically bring that to fruition? And that ties into what you were just touching on. It's like, know who you are and build your business accordingly. Like I use your frame. I use a lot of your frameworks, but one of them was make sure your business is fun, simple, highly profitable. And to what you said before, I'm so guilty of what you said before. It's like comparing myself to people that we know in the industry of how they're doing their businesses. It's like, if I just try to be them, I'm going to live to their values and their beliefs and build a business that I don't love. It's like, I just had these drop-ins like a couple of days ago, literally. You always get my brain jumps when they come through. It's like, I want to build essentially my online community, which I'm building right now, to run, essentially build without me having to build it. Me still do the coaching part because that's what I love doing. And then have my events really built like a Joe Dispenza level where I literally was looking at his retreats last night, and it's like, they're sold out all year. It's like, I can't even go there this year if I wanted to. And he like doesn't do any promotion. He's just his content is just so good. His books, his work is so transformational that they sell out within 10, 15 minutes. So I want to build a business within my energy, my essence, and build a business that I love. And I guess you don't really figure that out till you try it. And I say the path gets clearer as you walk down the path. But those are the steps I would be looking at is like, okay, what are your values? What's your purpose? Now let's get clear on a big, hairy, audacious goal, a BHAG for anyone in the business world. So what's the mission you want to go achieve and practically fulfill your purpose? What does your life look like? And then make sure we build your life accordingly. Like, don't build a business you hate. I've done that. It sucks. It's like build a business where you actually get to do what you love what you do, have fun, make some profit, have a meaningful way. It depends what you're optimizing for. So for me, it is the transformation. It's the lifestyle. It's the fun. It's the calendar that I enjoy doing. It's either have a calendar completely empty, full bank account, empty calendar, or have a calendar filled with the things that you love to do. Like I love these chats. I love having it, talking shit on a podcast. So it's like I'd love to have many more of these. I love coaching. I like making content. I love making transformation. So no, there are obviously parts within business where you've got to get them done because that's what's required to get there. But you do that yourself. And then when you get the resources, you delegate it, automate it, or do what you need to do. But essentially just get clear on what you want. So get clear on the vision for yourself, the mission specifically, and then what's the vehicle that's going to allow you to get there. If we're going to go from Australia to America, a car won't get us there. No matter how resourceful, how consistent, how creative you are, you will never get there with that vehicle. So you need the right vehicle or business model that allows you to get to the vision and mission that you want, and then put in the work and actually be practical, break it down, take action, and yeah.
Epic. Thank you. What's the thing that you're facing off with at the moment?
Facing off with instantly what just came up with the sales piece still. So it's been able to my edge right now is selling from stage, and it's the greedy, the sleazy, the arrogant wounds or traits that were coming up for me. And we literally I was in your room literally last week for 2 days. And something that really stood out for me was until you're so fucking committed to the mission that you're on and the gift you're here to bring and the impact you're here to make, in your words, you'll pussyfoot around the sale. Like you just won't be willing to look someone in the eye and say, I will change your fucking life. And I'm so certain on that. And I want you to be there. I'm not going to guilt you into it. And that's the balance I'm learning. How do I have if you feel guilted into doing this, do not buy. And I will never, ever, ever take your money if that's the energy you're coming from. But if you're on the fence and you know this is right for you and you've been asking, I got this story from Kerwin, which I love. I'm going to put this into my sales pitch actually. It's when there's this person who's like drowning at sea and is praying to God, God help me, God help me, God help me. And then this boat comes along and says, hey mate, we're here to help you. And he's like, no. God's going to look after me. God's going to help me. So the boat goes away. Then a helicopter comes around and says, hey mate, we're here to help you. He's like, no, God's going to look after me. I've asked God, God will look after me. And then the person drowns. He goes up to heaven. He's like, he finds God. He says, God, what the hell, man? I asked for help and I asked you to save me. What did you do? He's like, mate, I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter. You weren't listening to the signs. Yeah. So it's like these people that you want your relationship to get better. You want to do something that you love. You want to find your purpose. You want to heal. It's like, well, are you actually then listening to the people, the content, the opportunities that the universe is sending you? Sometimes you need to wake up to that. So I think to circle back to your question, it's being able to just sit with that and actually just be like, I know some of you will never work with me deeper, and that's okay, and that's perfect. But for the people that are already in, let's rock and roll. But the people that are like, you've got your human excuses, I like that the soul versus the ego. It's like your ego excuses, your mind getting in the way, fucking push through. And actually being willing to sit in that in front of an audience, in front of on a stage is, there's still a little bit there, even talking about it right now, I still feel a little bit. So I'm looking forward to the Saturday to just sit with it and just look. I'm going to consciously look people in the eyes and actually say, if you're in, let's fucking do it. So that's what's showing up for me at the moment.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. It's one of those things that you unendingly journey, right? It's like if we have these seen wounds and these rejection wounds that typically play out with sales, it's like this deeper level of resonance of knowing of what you're here for. And that piece of like fully, absolutely committing to knowing exactly what you're going to create for people instantly like breaks people open with it. It allows them to be able to start to recognize that, that regardless of what happens, their choice is their choice. And that's probably one of the biggest things that we start to look at. It's like, as soon as we start to take people's autonomy or sovereignty away from them and they feel guilted and it's a negative experience for them, then yes, we will get more people buying. Yes, we will close more people, but what's the cost of that?
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of integrity and internal growth to be able to get to that place of going, okay, cool, this is what I'm going to stand for. I'm going to stand for you, even when you don't recognize, how important it is to stand for you, or you're just too tired to stand for yourself.
Yeah.
All of those little pieces start to add to it to be able to level up your relationship with your mission by doing that internal work. And it's a reflection of you of just like keeping going into, okay, cool, what is the next thing that I'm facing off with? What is the thing that's being brought to me right now?
Yeah.
What is the next thing that's coming up for me? What is the next trigger that's coming up for me? What is the next thing that's scheduled to be loved for me? What is that piece that is washing over me and allowing it to wash over me rather than like getting stuck with it, which is what a lot of people do.
I'm going to jump in. I love the way the spiel you just gave, and just a reflection piece. Something that I've been so inspired by the way that you do is just how integral you are with the way that you sell. Because it's easy to say this on a podcast right now and people can just listen to it, but like to see you do it in person where it's like, there's like people like, you're not ready to work with me. It's like, I love you, but energetically, financially, like I'm not here to guilt you. I'm not here to shame you. I'm not here to pressure you into this. It's like, the event we just came to, Corey that was there at the event, he'd done, I think like the first half of the first day, and he came up to me, he's like, bro, how is Cody not more well known? He's so good. I'm like, I know, I agree. And I'm like, my answer to it was like, I think because there's many pieces to it, but one of the pieces that came up was just like, he doesn't need to, he doesn't choose to, he does it in a place that's from his heart. It's in alignment with him. He could easily fill the rooms, just put some more money into some ads and get more people and guilt a bit more people into buying his shit. But it's like, he's just so in alignment and integral with the work that he does, the people he can help, the people he can't help or shouldn't help. And I just wanted to reflect that because that's been indirectly just something that's blown my mind by working with you. It's like you could easily turn it because you're great at selling. You're great at selling from stage, and you're like a master when you do it. You've got like all these little things. Like I'm just currently learning this. It's like the things that you do and I didn't realize you're doing, and then I watch you do it again, or I pick up another 10 things that you did. I'm like, holy shit, there's so many layers to this, and you still have that foundational, integral piece to you, and it's mastery to see. So I just want to say thank you for reflecting that to me, because that's been something that I want to stay true to through my mission, because I don't want to have that I'm going to make you feel like a piece of shit if you don't buy my stuff. And you've never done that, and I just want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, a big thank you. The energy that it comes from is really, what is the time horizon that you're playing from? It's like, are you playing the short game, or are you here? Like the way that I say it and the way that I frame it to people is like, if you don't work with me today, I'm still going to be here next year and the year after that and the year after that and the year after that and in decades. I've been in the industry for decades already, and I'm still going to be around. Some people are going to come into the industry, they're going to make lots of money, it's going to be great, and then they're going to be gone. I'll still be here. And when you're willing to play that long game, when you're willing to actually go, okay, cool, these are my values, these are my ethics, this is what I'm willing to stand for, these are the people that I can support, and I will stand for those people, I will give them everything that I have. It creates an entirely different dynamic, and it also creates this, basically on James basically said the same thing on the podcast as well. He's like, for such a long period of time, you're like the world's best kept secret. And it's like, well, it depends what you want to build. You want to build fast and you want to build shallow levels of depth, or you can create such a foundation that it's never going to be rocked. Yeah. It's like the more foundation that you're willing to create, the more that you actually put that into place, the deeper and wider that's going to go. You won't be one of the people that comes into the industry and then just disappears. And that's one of the things that I love about working with you as well. It's like, I know that, we're going to be doing things for life. We're going to be, we'll transcend our coaching relationship, and it will become partners in business. We'll start to do events together, all of these things. And that's one of the things that I look at with high level people that I work with. It's like, can I see myself partnering with that person? Because most people just see it from that myopic point of view where it's like, okay, cool, this is our coaching relationship. I'm going to serve you, and then you can, I'm going to try and serve you for life. It's like, well, no, I want every single person that I work with to actually outgrow being coached by me. I want them to actually go from that to becoming a partner in business. That's already happened with like one of our clients, Nat. I'm coming into her events. I'm working with her clients. I'm doing all of these things. we shift that relationship. And one of the shadows that we see of the coaching industry is like, how to the ascension pathway is like, all right, come and do all my stuff or come and work on the team.
Yep.
And it's like, well, that's one ascension pathway, but I much prefer people to be so successful from the work that they've actually done with me, that they're actually going out and kicking their own goals, that they want to actually partner with me, so that we can actually have the experience of a rising tide lifts all ships. Not just saying that, actually creating the results from people that they actually go out there and create waves, rather than it just being about you. That's why I love, working with people like you. It's just like, you bring forth all of yourself, that it also brings more out of me.
Yep.
And that's the thing. Like, if you're working with someone one-on-one, it's like, and it's not bringing up your shit, it's like, okay, cool. You're probably just doing it for the money.
Yep.
Whereas if your shit's coming up when you're working with people one-on-one, it's like, okay, cool. Now we've got this relationship dynamic where you're getting these reflections because you're in this intimate relationship with people. Just like you get the reflections of an intimate relationship with an intimate partner. The same thing happens when you start to work with someone one-on-one. It's like, these are the little subtle things that are coming up because you're in this deep, intimate experience that shit just bubbles to the surface. Yeah. And most people, like, my hidden agenda for business is like, how do we have our business be our spiritual growth pathway? Yeah. It's like, I don't want to separate those things. It's not my spiritual life and my business life. It's those things together, those things intertwining, so that I can actually create a deeper sense of connection to myself, so that I don't create this separation in life, that I have that integrative approach to everything that I do. It's this experience of this unending, perpetuating experience of oneness. So for you, what's been the one area that you've struggled the most to integrate into your whole life?
Say it again.
What's been the one area? Like, has it been, spirituality, relationship, business, money? What's been the one area that's kind of struggled to fit in the holistic aspect of it all?
The one that really came up was the spiritual piece of it, because I literally take the piss out of, I'll give you my little thing I say at my events. I said, there's a spectrum of people out there. On one side of the spectrum, we've got our spiritual folk. And these spiritual folk, they're levitating, they're meditating, they're saging, they're crystalline, they're breathing, they're connecting, they're doing their plant medicines every weekend. These people, often without taking any action, are broke as shit. And then you got your other spectrum where hustlers, they work, grind, hustle porn. I will out achieve you. I will outwork you. Sleep when you're dead. That was me. And then I took a big pendulum swing when the universe woke me the fuck up and swung me over to the spiritual side, where it's connecting to source, to heart, to purpose, healing, sitting in medicine, breath work, all of those things. And it's finding probably the balance between that. I think I go between even you take the piss out of me at your event. You're like, now you're not going to go implement and execute on everything we do today. And you look straight at me, where it's like, I'll just overwork myself. I'll burn myself out. Yeah. So it's finding that balance of actually, like, kind of honestly taking my own medicine. What I was saying, it's like building a life and a business that I do enjoy, because that there's like this animal of work ethic within me, which I'm very blessed from dad for that, where it's like, I'll just like destroy myself to achieve something. And then sometimes I've gone like all the way where I just don't do anything. I sit around and just connect and breathe and heal, and I get into all the rooms, and it's probably finding that balance. I don't think I have balanced that yet. I think I'm just learning to like tune into. I think I had a question the other day. Who was it? Actually, I was on a podcast last week, and he pretty much asked that question: how do you balance your hustle and work and also continuing to heal and work on yourself? It was pretty much that question. And I said, look, I think I just go through seasons of it. Like, sometimes I'm like, don't fucking talk to me, I'm working. It's like, sometimes with you won't hear from me from a month, and then I'll just unload all these updates from you. And then sometimes it's like, I've had some personal things come up, I've had some triggers come up, I've had some wounds come up, and it's like the wounds just keep, if you push a beach ball underneath the water, it just pops up somewhere else. So you'll have your wounds, your triggers, your reflections, your shit come up, and it's like, you can ignore it for a little bit, and then it'll pop up again, and it'll pop up again, and it'll pop up again, and eventually, like, fuck this, I need to go integrate this. So probably learning, balancing those two worlds together, the hustle porn world and the spiritual feeling world together. I think that's something, I don't think I've nailed it. I think I'd say I'm 70-30. I'm 70% hustle, 30% healing. So learning to balance those two worlds together in a sustainable way is something I don't think I've nailed just yet. But yeah, that's what came up when you asked the question.
Yeah, totally get it. The way that I look at it is using like a gym metaphor. So like you start to go to the gym, you do a set program. It's like, right, now I'm doing this, and then now I'm doing this. If you've been a PT and you've worked with like elite athletes, eventually what you start to do with your clients is you start to go, okay, we're going to do what we call auto-regulation. And in auto-regulation, it's like, how are you feeling that day? What's coming up for you that day? And then we actually do the workout based on how you're feeling that day. It's like, all right, we're going to do squats today, and we're going to do a couple of sets. We're going to see how fast the bar's moving. We're going to see how tired that we are. We're going to determine what the RPE, or what is it, the perceived exertion basically, that you're doing, how you're feeling, and then it's determining, okay, cool, this is how intense we're going to make this workout. And I do that when I go to the gym, but I also do that in my life. It's like, okay, cool, I'm seeing how I'm feeling that day. Is my nervous system a little bit more jacked up than it probably should be? Okay, we're going to have to change today. We're going to change the energy of today so that we can actually start to go into more healing today than I would previously. If I just go straight into hustle, then I know that the weekend's going to be absolutely fucked because all of my shit is going to be catching up with me. It's the speedboat effect. You're speeding along, and then eventually, as soon as you stop, all the water washes past you and all the healing crashes over you, and then you're just like, I can't breathe. Yeah. So when we can actually start to create that frame of reference of going, okay, I'm going to auto-regulate my life. I'm going to auto-regulate this. Yes, I have this thing where I'm going to hustle. I'm going to get it done. I've got a deadline. Like this week, I've got a deadline for a few things, so it's pushing a little bit more. But then also I know that I've got an extra day off in the middle of this week, and then I've also got the weekend off, and then I've got a week. I've got next week we're running a 6-day event, and then I've got my week off. Yeah. So it's like I know that I can push it a little bit more because I've got that time and space because I've set up my training for life. Yeah. I've periodized my training program or my life program of integrating spirit and business so that I can actually do that. But most people are just like, all right, all hustle or all hippie. Yeah. They're the two pathways.
Yeah, hustle and hippie. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All hustle or all hippie. It's like people think spiritual growth is like, all right, well, now I'm going to buy a van and I'm going to go live at Byron and I'm not going to have a house or anything. It's like they swing the pendulum all the way to the other side of it. And, it's important to be able to go through that swing to start off with. But what we're really looking at is recognizing the balance. If you're walking across a beam, you're unendingly adjusting. Yep. It's not that you're just walking across and you're perfectly balanced and you're rigid. That's how you fall. Yep. It's like these subtle little shifts that as soon as you get pushed this way just a little bit, you just start to recorrect and you just go this way just a tiny little bit. Yep. And when you have that depth of sensitivity, that's where the real magic is. That's where we can actually start to feel like we're in balance. Balance is not rigid, it is unendingly flexible. It is unendingly moving with the energy of life. And the more that we can actually move with the energy of life, the more that we actually start to receive from that because we're in the dance of it then. We're no longer in like, okay, cool, I've got to get it done. Yeah.
So it was funny, as you were talking, like literally my projections came up as you said. It's like, depending how I'm feeling, I need to regulate my nervous system versus hustle. And I'm just like, Hormozy would just say, shut the fuck up and work. And it's like, catching those thoughts to me because that's my default. Yeah. And that end of last year, you literally told me it's like take time over Christmas, New Year's to recharge. And I said, fuck no, I'm going to work. And I did it. And literally, I think like a week after doing that, I rarely get sick. I get sick once a year and it's not a day or two. I got rocked for a week. I was like, literally, it's like the body is like, you're not going to listen to me, motherfucker. I'm going to put you in bed. And I was literally, I couldn't even like do any work. I just had to sit down. And from that, I've now taken your advice of around my events, I've got like days before and after, like just blocked out for whatever I feel like doing. So yeah, there's still definitely proof of I just projected onto you that there's still that balancing part. Cause I was literally, it just came up straight away. I'm like, Layla Hormozy says, fuck your mood, follow the plan. She literally says, so it's like, that dance is a dance I'm still dancing. So thank you for that.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those things that we unendingly dance with as well. Like literally, like it's, for example, today, for me, it's just like literally back to back from 7:30 to 7:30. Yeah. It's like my mood is not really relevant. And my big fight with Jackie starting at 5 a.m. this morning is not really relevant. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, we're going to have some things come up today. Okay, great. Well, we're going to journey that until 7:30. Yeah. And then we're going to park that and it's like, all right, cool, 7:30 to 7:30. It's like, fuck my mood.
Yeah.
I'm getting this done.
Yeah.
And that's the piece. It's like recognizing the little pockets of that and recognizing the season of that, because the issue is when that becomes the rule.
Yeah.
And because that is also my default of going back to like, fucking get out of my way.
I'll show you how it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. With your journey with health, what's been the one thing that's kind of, you know, amplified everything with your health more than anything else? What's been?
A few. I haven't had that question. A few things popped up. Childhood stuff that popped up. Skinny, being a skinny kid. I remember there was my brother's mate. I haven't thought of this in a while. My brother's mate. He just called me skinny one time, and it really got me. It's like he said along the lines of like your skin and bone or something, and so that's like driven the powerful side to me. So I like to be explosive and powerful with the way that I train. So that came up. So that was like 20 plus years ago. Recently, it was actually Diary of a CEO. I was listening to what's his name, Stephen Bartlett, and he just said a simple analogy, which like because I used to sacrifice my health as well. So when I was in my hustle porn period with the gyms, like it was funny. Like shared in my book, it's like I would literally wake up, I'd have about 5 hours sleep, wake up, and I'll take classes at the gym in the morning from like 4:30 to about 9:30. 10 a.m. I wouldn't eat anything throughout the day. I would have food from the lunch truck that would come through, and it's all like greasy, like disgusting food, bad for you, yummy but disgusting for you. And then I wouldn't eat anything else, and then I'll just load up on McDonald's at night, and then I'd go to sleep, repeat that for 7 years. So it's like I would always like, as long as my calories are good, I'm going to stay relatively in shape. But my energy was off. Mentally, I was off. My performance mentally, physically was off. And I just remember there was two pivotal points. Earlier on, it was a values linking thing. So it was essentially like whatever you're not doing or not doing, it's because it serves or doesn't serve your values high enough. So my values at the time, coaching, business, learning, how do they get better by looking after my health? I did that about 6 years ago. And since then, I've been like noticeably consistent with my training and my health. And then about I think a year ago, this example from Stephen Bartlett, he just says, picture a table, and the table is your health. You can put whatever you want on top of the table, but if the table is gone, you're fucked. It's like if your health is gone, you can't do anything. And it's like I've heard versions of that before, but it just landed. It's like a healthy person has a million dreams, a sick person has one. It's like it's just nailing that over and over again. I've always enjoyed training. Like I love sports. I love like table tennis, rugby, touch football, like tennis. I love sports in general. But yeah, health is just like I've just progressively getting better. I don't have like massive health goals by any means, but just want to be energetically great. I want to have vitality. I want to be able to, be on my mission for as long as I possibly can. And health is a requirement to get there. So just linking benefits to it, healing from my wounds from it. And Stephen Bartlett's simple analogy just clicked at the right time for me. So I train most days. I am relatively clean with my food. I work with Dr. Daniel Kirkbride as well. He helps me with like supplementations and stuff. I'm actually starting a program with him next week. So I used to get away with it because I'll just overtrain everything. It's like, I'll eat shit, just burn it off. That was always kind of my attitude. But taking more of a sort of holistic, long-term wellness angle on it has definitely served me long-term.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, until you become, proactive with your health, like the only thing that's going to happen is you're just going to get less and less energized. And part of that is you see all of the people that are, fulfilled in life and energized in life. They have that foundational understanding that they've linked health to their values. Yeah. It's as simple as that. Yeah. No one wants to get up at 5 a.m. to be able to train. No one really wants to do that in a lot of instances. Some people want to, but a lot of people, until they link it to their health. If you think about most entrepreneurs, it's hilarious. You go to World Gym down the road and 5 a.m. club is just like all entrepreneurs. It's not people who are actually working on, there's some very small percentage of like bodybuilders and stuff, but the majority of people are people that have linked health with their values. Yeah. It's like my value of actually building a business is 10 times enhanced by focusing and starting the day with my health. Yeah. It's like, well, I can put it at the end of the day and although it's not optimal for everyone to train at the end of the day, a lot of people will just do it in the morning because they're like, well, if I start, then I'm going to get it done because that's going to be the most important thing. Then all of this shit can fall apart and I don't have to worry about it at the end of the day. And every single person that I see that starts to be proactive with that dramatically enhances their energy. And this is one of the things that I see, that even slight increments of increasing the level of association between health and your values that you have or whatever you're creating in your life, even slight incremental increases of that just creates so much more energy. So it amplifies everything else. Most people are putting their life into, low priority bullshit. Yeah. If your mind's occupied by low priority bullshit, it has zero capacity to solve high profitability problems. And if you solve high profitability problems, then you make much more money. It's like people are focused on all these tiny little bullshit things that don't actually move the needle because they want to be busy. And, when you actually prioritize tiny little things like health, everything starts to open up for people. And it's one of the things that some people just automatically do, but some people need to actually take the time to actually create that connection between their values and their health. Yeah. Which is why it's so important for people to be able to recognize what their values are.
And I remember, I think about 7 years ago when I had that, I just remember I would be in the gym, in the office working, and the late night classes, it was like 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. 7 p.m. always dead quiet, like 5 people max. And the coach, like every night that was taking the class would pop in, hey, Lewis, it's quiet if you want to jump in. I'm like, no, got to do business. Got it. And got to live to my values, right? And then I did that exercise around that time where it's like, okay, how does my business improve by me looking after my health more? And I just stacked a ton of benefits onto that. And yeah, it's like, yeah, I in reflection, I don't know how the fuck people train in the afternoon. Hey, I don't know how to do it. I get up, I train 5 a.m., 6 a.m. most mornings. And yeah, it's like I used to train like 3 times a day for sport, and I'm just like, how the fuck did I do that? Yeah. Like, happy I'm not an athlete anymore, but just weird thoughts came up just then.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I'm an afternoon trainer now.
I don't know how you do it.
I used to be a morning trainer, and what kind of changed was I recognized that I'm even more productive in the morning, but I die in the afternoon. So if I train in the afternoon, then I get a second wind. Yeah. And that's very specific to me. But most people are just like, they have to just do it in the morning, or they can do it in the afternoon, where they actually recognize, well, know thyself. Who am I? Do I perform better if I just get straight into work in the morning? And it's kind of breath work and then straight into work for me, because I've got a window between 6 and 7 a.m. Whereas so long as I breathe, it's good. So that's exercise if I'm up early enough. If my son wakes me up in the middle of the night, then I do the morning train. It's like literally, okay, cool, I'm not going back to sleep. All right, I'm going to the gym.
Thank you,
Go to
Max.
the gym. Thanks, Max. Thanks for being the alarm clock. So one of the things that you said earlier was like about the importance of taking your own medicine. Can you expand on that?
Maybe it's in the field because you said a one-liner at your event, the shaman takes the medicine too. So I think for me, like the 3 steps or tips I recommend when looking for a coach or a healer or anyone to work with. Number 1, do you feel safe in their presence? Now that depends on what you're going for them for. If you're going for more tactical shit, maybe not important, but transformation, absolutely. You got to feel safe enough so you can let them in or put the walls down, be vulnerable. Caveat to that, you can't use that as your excuse because you might say you don't feel safe with anyone. So it does require a bit of courage from your end, but generally you feel safe enough to connect with this person. Second is they're an embodiment of the work that they do. And that's something, again, just to mirror back to you, something that you do so well. It's like I did a podcast last week, someone I referred to before, and it's like men's coach, just like Scott, who looks like Scott as well. and it's like, it was so refreshing because I'm like, I'd never met him before. I'd seen his Instagram, and it's like, when people's Instagram and them in person don't line up. It's like, it was the opposite. I'm like, we had a beautiful conversation about healing, trauma, all the things. And at the end, I just said, mate, just thank you. You're actually an embodiment of the shit you talk about. You don't just talk about it on an Instagram video, or you don't just talk about it on a podcast. You're the embodiment of what you do. So for me, it's kind of like the unhealthy personal trainer. It's the unhealthy doctor. It's the broke accountant or whatever it may be. It's like, listen to someone who's helping themselves and taking their own medicine. And then the third tip is they have got proven results for others, because it's a different skill set between helping yourself and helping others. Some people are jacked bodybuilders, but they couldn't teach fucking anything because they just don't have that skill, and that's okay. They might not want to. But they're the three things I look for. So I guess the importance of taking your own medicine is to show that it works. If you can't help yourself, how the fuck are you going to help anyone else? And maybe another angle is what you said before. There's just always more layers to it. It's like you teach the things that you need to listen to. So it's like you said a one line a while ago. It's when you decide you're going to teach about something, your shit within that area will come up. So it's like I ran I did a one-off master class on relationships, and like the week leading into it, all these triggers and shit came up in my relationship. So it's just you're whatever you want to help people with, it's generally a reflection of what you've helped yourself with or what you're helping yourself with. And if for me as someone who is of service of others, if I'm not an embodiment of the work that I do, it's like I just think I'm full of shit. And I used to be that when I first started. Like I'd watch a Tony Robbins video and then I'd film a video just talking about what Tony Robbins spoke about it. But it's like I'm just regurgitating someone else's message versus like, hey, I've got the scar tissue and here's all the failures and lessons and things I've achieved using this. This is how I did it. It's two different messages. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I love that. I don't remember the frame that he used, but on Hormoz's recent podcast, Lockie Mitchell sent it to me. He's like, there's practitioners and there's basically regurgitators. And the more that you regurgitate other people's stuff, the more that it just becomes diluted. And that's one of the things that you see with most people who come out of, their life coaching on NLP coaching thing. It's like regurgitated NLP that's just watered down and it just gets more and more watered down. And then they start to teach other people those things and it just becomes more watered down. Yeah. Comparative to actually just being with, it's number one, what you've embodied. You've got to teach what you've embodied, but then the other pieces, you got to be absolutely transparent with the things that you're learning. Yeah. And that's part of the integrity piece that most people miss because they go, oh, okay, well, I'm not embodied in this, so I can't teach. Yeah. It's like, no, teach what you are embodied in and then be transparent when you're teaching things that you're not embodied in. Yeah. That's the integrity piece because otherwise you're just using integrity shaming to be able to keep yourself exactly where you are. That's great, but you don't actually create any shifts from that. Yeah. So that's one of the distinctions that I see so many people kind of messing up because when you're saying that, you're talking about both sides of it. Yeah. And when we actually bring both sides of it into it, then that's when things start to open up for people, which is what most people miss.
Yeah, and I've had a couple of references from others and I can't remember the person that's coming up, but it's like my default response when someone asks me a question I don't have much substance to, I say, hey, look, this isn't my area of expertise. Like, here's my general thoughts, but I take it as a grain of salt. Like, this is not something I've had much experience in. Like, someone asked me about business coach, and it's like, someone said, hey, I've got a clothing business. Can you help me with the business coach? And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I've never done that before. So it's just like, being integral and authentic of like, okay, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I'm currently working on. And this is what I can help you with, but this is who I am essentially. And I think it's you're trying to just put the mask on, the persona on, I'm the man, I'm the king of everything, I can solve every problem. It's like, no, you don't. It's like, you can't. You are really good at your specific scope of things and you're a master of that. And something that came up as you were talking, it's like, I like that analogy where you're driving a car, if you're going 20 miles an hour, you can turn left and right really easily. If you're going 200 Ks an hour, the slightest shift gives you like such a huge detour. So the more further you go within your journey, those little tiny, tiny distinctions, like you taking someone through a holographics process or a healing process compared to the first time you did it or a version of it how many years ago, you would have so many more subtle things that you notice, the eye movement, the way their body is, the way they're breathing, if they really got it or not. And like it would probably be cool to see like your own journey from that to there. So it's like those just little 1%ers that you can pick up on, and you don't really get that without doing the reps and having someone ask a question from an angle you haven't been asked before. You're like, oh, actually, I had a client the other day. She's a new one-on-one. She just started working with me, and she went through some of my pre-recorded content to do it. And she asked a question. I'm like, you're actually right. I need to fix that up. Thank you for giving me back to that. Here's the actual answer for it, but I'm going to go fix that system up. Thank you for the reflection. It's like you don't get that without people throwing you those different angles on that work, so you can just smooth it out. It's like another coat of paint, another coat of paint, another coat of paint. And you don't get that without actually being honest with where's your expertise, what are you great at, what's your circle of genius, and fucking going all in on that for a long period of time.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. I love that. It's like you gotta have that deeper sense of presence to be able to like receive that as well. It's like most people are just they're just going so hard that they don't actually receive the feedback to be able to reflect and go, oh, actually, that is wrong.
Yeah.
That is like, that was perfect for that point in the journey. But now how I see things have evolved so much that, we need to be able to change that. And that's one of the things that, people who are masters of what they do are willing to do. They're willing to be able to go internal, go introspective, go reflective, to be able to go, all right, yes, we need to change that. It's that willingness to be able to be curiously compassionate with yourself to go, okay, cool. Yes, that was perfect for that point in time. Now let's actually make changes to that because now I see things in an entirely different way. I think that's the kind of perfect thing to start to wrap up on. What would you say to someone as a final question to, they've got that recognition of what their path is. They know what the path is, but they're scared or just not taking it. What would you say to them?
Look, there's maximum growth is on the borderline of support and challenge, and something that you've said another version of, like a great coach does both. A great coach, or your version was, if you have a coach that doesn't challenge you, you have a cheerleader, not a coach. So it depends what the person needs. So it's like, okay, you're doing the best of what you have. Start with empathy and love. Like, what's the awareness you're not aware of? What's the skills that you're lacking? What's the unconscious trauma you're protecting yourself from? Like, what's the thing that's playing out? It's like with great power comes great responsibility, or great responsibility comes great power. And it's like, okay, now you are aware of your deficits. You're aware of this is what needs to get done. If you're then choosing not to change, you're choosing to stay the same. So it depends on the person. So I would, there's 4 main buckets I look through. Number 1, are you being authentic? Because if you're not being who you are, you're trying to be number 2 or someone else, you're not being integral, authentic, and in alignment with who you are. Second, limiting beliefs, and anyone on NLP or any self-development work, it's like whatever beliefs you have, you make them true and they become a glass ceiling for you. So what beliefs are you playing out or protecting yourself from or reaffirming that you might not be aware of? Third is trauma, and that's where we go through what traits, behaviors, what are the things that parts of you haven't learned to love, you haven't healed through yet, because you'll unconsciously protect yourself from experiencing that. I use rejection as an example from my people-pleasing days. So let's say you've got, I'll use my brother actually. Love you, Tom. So I called him at the start of this year, 2025, and Happy New Year, how are you, what's going on? And he's like, what are your goals for this year? And he said, I want to do some more healing work. I want to work on myself. I want to start my business, and I want to start posting content online. I'm like, yeah, perfect, because I obviously love content. I said, when are you going to start? He's like, oh, I knew you'd ask me that question. I was like, great. So I said, what are you protecting yourself from by not posting? And judgment was the word that came out straight away. And he was an overt kid. He got bullied a lot. He got judged a lot. So him not taking the action is him unconsciously protecting himself from being judged. So again, he wasn't aware of that until I brought awareness to it. So what wounds are you protecting yourself from? Or fourth is the practical part. Like maybe you just don't know what the fuck you're doing. If you go up to someone who says, I want to run a business, and you say, go do it, and they've never done it before, they don't know offers, marketing, selling, sales, systems, or what anything niching. It's like it's overwhelming. Like, how do you eat the whale at once? You can't. It's overwhelming. You'll freak you out. And the mind normally goes 1, 2, 3, then too much, and it freaks out. So that's where the plan comes into it. We break it down into actionable steps. Like if you just said, go build $1 million business, and you've never done business before, you're going to freak yourself out. You don't. There's so many things to do. But if you just knew today, you need to come up with what problems would you love to help people with? Great. Then how would you solve those problems? Great. How would you deliver that? Great. How would you post some content to get people to know about it? Great. It's like you just break it into bite-sized pieces. So to circle back to your question, it depends on what the person's going through. I'd look through those 4 lenses. Are you being authentic? Is this actually something you want to do, or are you live into mum or dad or whatever projections? Have you got some beliefs that are in the way? Which the answer is probably going to be yes to all of them. Fourth, is there some trauma that you're protecting yourself from that you're not aware of? Or fourth, do you just don't know what you're doing and you need some clarity on what to do? And then if you choose not to, you're choosing to stay the same. And that's where I'll then give them a kick up the ass if they're not doing it.
Epic. Thank you.
Pleasure.
I think that's the perfect thing to wrap up on. It's been a great conversation. Excited to see it out there in the world. Thanks again.
Brother, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.